Bang ding ding, trademark. He come out 6'7" tall. Bang ding ding, one is star. Bang ding 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 ding. This is a perfect day.
Woke up to the sound of the garbage truck again. Upstairs neighbor's toilet's leaking on my head. And cars broke down, I missed the bus, there runs at 10. I had a feeling this was a day to stay in bed. I finally left my pad right under Jumbo's cloud roof. A police officer pulled out his gun and said, I said, sir, you got the wrong guy. I guess it's just a perfect day. It's just a perfect day. Na, 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 na,
Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to the Eggs Podcast. This week, Ryan and Mike sit down with Rytis Lauris. Rytis is the co-founder and CEO of Omnisend, a powerful marketing automation platform that's focused on moving e-commerce marketers beyond the generic email marketing tools. Here to share his thoughts on the future of omnichannel marketing, Rytis Lauris.
Hi, Rytis.
Hey.
Welcome,
Hi,
Rytis.
nice
How
to
are you?
meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for making the
I'm
time.
good.
for
I'm
us.
good. Very, very good. Yeah, I'm glad to be here and talk to you guys.
Yeah, thank you for making the time.
Yep, all the way from Lithuania. So what is that? I think maybe 9 or 10 hours ahead of us right now. So it's pushing 9, 10 o'clock for you?
You and your time zones,
Yeah,
like
that's
you actually know.
Yeah, that's correct. It's 10 p.m. now.
Yeah, so we appreciate you putting off your friends and family or whomever so that you can spend some time with us.
Yeah, I'm quite used actually to doing that.
Well, I suppose if you're doing work in the States, I guess it's probably part of the norm. But no, that's really cool. So thanks for making the time. I appreciate the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So
thanks for inviting. Really great to be here.
Yeah. Can you give us a kind of a brief overview of your kind of work history, how you got from, starting to now? Just a recap.
Yeah, sure. Everything began with me graduating political sciences, actually, which has nothing in common with digital world or IT or even marketing. Maybe it has something in common with marketing, as politicians market themselves a lot, so they are brands by themselves. So kind of my business journey started there, but still being in university, just one friend called and said, Rytis, what do you think about launching your business and starting a company? And actually, being honest, I had no clue what it's going to be about. And they said, of course, why not? Let's do it. So that was my first touch with the business. I guess I was like 2021 at that time. So that was a first venture, and since then I'm in the business world. So I'm running one another company, so really multiple companies, some exits. Vast majority of those companies were kind of more local, regional in Lithuania, or like in the Baltics, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, like regional ones, and then somehow service related things. But I had we had with partners few startup attempts. Couple of those failed, and I would say that Omnisend is quite successful already, and we believe that it's just still the beginning, although it's already 60 how many of us? No, 44 people, more than 50, 54 actually, 54 people currently, bootstrap business, etc. So and growing. So that's kind of, was a start, few attempts which failed, and third attempt, I would say, is quite successful.
Very cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, what a departure from political science into the business of business, I guess. So what drove you that direction? Was it just the people you were hanging around with, or have you always been sort of inclined to be a little more entrepreneurial?
Yeah, I would say it at like a young age, that was more people who influenced me and who just, showed this opportunity. And once I tried, I really liked it. I really like being in business, which is much more creative than politics. You can mingle a lot. You can try out new things. You're not that inboxed somehow, and you have much more freedom to jazz, to rock, and do your own things which you really like to do.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and so once you entered business, what drove you into e-commerce and sort of omni-channel marketing? And for people who don't know, do you mind sort of explaining what omni-channel marketing is?
Yeah. So two pieces of this question. So the first one. I used to run digital marketing agency, serving customers and building websites for them, doing Facebook apps, running email marketing campaigns, building their online stores. And running the agency, we saw that those who do sell online may have a little bit specific needs for their marketing campaigns. And email, at that time, we launched Omnisend 5 years ago. So email is very effective channel. And I would say the single channel to effectively retain your existing customers. There are a lot of good channels to acquire new customers, but to retain, to communicate with your existing customer base. So email was the most effective channel. And at that time, there were no tools who would specialize on e-commerce email marketing. And e-commerce is great that you have so much data, because all the transactions, everything is happening online. So you can collect a lot of data about your customers' behavior and really personalize marketing based on triggers and on their behavior. So let's say someone is visiting your website, you identify that the one is looking for earbuds. Yeah, although you're selling mobile phones, cameras, etc., but that person is looking for earbuds at that time. So that's the data we have, and we analyzed, and based on that we have triggers and start sending campaigns about earbuds, which is much more relevant for the person. So that was the beginning, that we saw that there is a need in the market, and there is an opportunity because there is still relatively free market niche. And so that's the first part of your question. Second part of your question is about what omnichannel marketing is. So omnichannel marketing is when you combine different channels to communicate with your customers. So in our case, we mainly help retain your existing customer base. That means to communicate with your existing customers through different channels: email, text messages, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, web push notifications, and even synchronizing to your Google and Facebook accounts. And it's all in a single customer view, in a single customer profile, and all on one flow. What do I mean? Person X is visiting and looking for earbuds. We start campaigning through email, because we have permission to communicate by email. It's the most cost-effective channel. If email is being ignored, we can expand the same campaign to Facebook Messenger. If Facebook Messenger is being ignored, we can expand the same campaign to SMS. So you can do that thing using 5 different tools, but usually what's going to happen, you're going to really flood the customer. If five different channels at the same time with the same message, it's not really a good way to treat your customers. And omnichannel is...
I get.
Yeah, it sounds like a scam. Yeah. Once it's still up until now. Sometimes I keep going, oh guys, so you help send spam. No, we don't help send spam. In the reverse, we help really make marketing much more relevant while analyzing customers' behavior and offering relevant messages with relevant content, because we know the intent of the customer and on the right time that someone is looking for specific products, not when you want to sell something, but then one wants to buy something.
Yeah, no, I think that's really great. Well, and it's interesting you brought up Facebook Messenger marketing. That's something I've just started to dig into a little bit. It sounds like it's going to be a great place. I guess when you market to people on Facebook advertising, they're like, once they click the button or something, they've opted into a whole bunch of stuff. And it sounds like it's a really cool platform for sort of the future of marketing.
You know what I've actually heard about Facebook Messenger too, though, is that you don't necessarily have to have a Facebook account to use the Messenger. There's a hack around it, and it's actually one of the leading causes or distribution methods of child pornography right now.
Huh, excellent.
Okay.
So, just FYI.
Oh, yeah. Thanks God we're not helping to do that.
So, anyways, side note.
Cool. All right. Well, so now that we have an understanding about
Facebook Messenger.
But maybe even worse, that internet is the most preferred channel to distribute any kind of pornography.
Yeah, no, of course. Between cats and pornography, that's about all we got.
Yeah.
So,
And the food porn. Yeah.
Can we talk about your first couple starts? I know we've kind of jumped into Omni Systems a little bit, but I want to take Omnisend. I want to take a step back, talk about your first couple of ventures and what you learned from those and how you were able to take those failures and get to where you are now and have a successful business. Is there anything you can elaborate on about your first two startups and what you wish you would have known then that you do know now?
Yeah, sure. So I like talking about failures, even sometimes more than talking about success. So and it's a pity that there are so few business books written about failures. So I would say Ben Harwood's hard thing about hard things. It's probably one of the best books I have ever read.
Hard think about
because
hard things.
Yeah, it's awesome because it's all the experience about all the shitty times, which are usually being left behind the scenes in all the success stories. Getting back to your question. So the first attempt was we were selling, producing and selling echo postcards printed with an echo ink on echo paper, and even planting a real tree for each postcard sold. So that was really fun, but the lesson learned there was that U.S. market is somehow different from the rest of the world. It's much more open for novelties. It's much more open for crazy ideas, etc. But at that time, I would say that we were not 100% ready for the U.S. market, although kind of vast majority of our sales was coming from the U.S. market. But once we launched the startup, we thought that it's going to be something like more digital business. But finally, we found out that it's quite physical business. If you are in the West Coast, we used to have 25 stores, like boutique stores, selling those postcards. But what you need to do, just need to visit those boutique stores physically, having your postcards and presents, etc., etc. So logistic things and all that things were not completely ready, and we didn't manage to roll it out as an online business and sell those postcards online. So the first lesson was that US market is great, and the second, that you have to be a bit more mature, a bit more ready. At that time we were still kind of young and thought, okay, it's gonna be easier, whatever, if you can do it in your backyard, so you will be able to do it anywhere because the world is local and not that global village. Yeah, so everywhere is the same. No, it's not. So that's the lesson I have learned. Second attempt was we have created IQ Pulse. I believe it's still online, iqpulse.com. So that was a tool for Pulse during seminars or conferences where the presenter can ask the audience a question, and the audience will vote with their smartphones or tablets, etc. And the answers will be shown on the big screen online. So it's a really interactive, fun tool, that a way to interact with your audience and ask questions, get the feedback on real time, comment that, etc., etc. But the key lesson I have learned there is that the product you are building, especially if it's SaaS product and you're building B2B product, so it should be solving monetizable customer pain from day one. So IQ Pulse was a nice to have tool, but not a must have. So then we gave someone like conference organizers, seminars, speakers, it for free. Everybody loved using that, but nobody was willing to pay for that because it's a nice, just nice to have toy, but not something which is really solving my business problems and helping me to manage my business or my personality, whatever better. So that, I would say, that was the key lesson, that you should build a product which is really solving a monetizable customer pain. That means that the pain for, like the painkiller, as a pill. So everybody is willing to pay for a pill to kill the pain if you have a huge headache. But not everybody is buying vitamins, although it's kind of healthy and everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So that's the key learning.
So with these two platforms, they look like they're pretty in-depth, like tech that had to be built. Do you have a background in development, or do you just have friends, or do you use like Upwork, or how did you get your sites built?
You're right. I have no background, and up until now, I would not write like any single line of a code. Like write hello in blue. It's too difficult for me.
Hello world. Any of the
hello
developers
world.
out there know that one. The first
So
program.
it would be too too difficult for me. So I was quite lucky to hire like tech people, who some of them are still with us, and we've just celebrated one person, like our CTO, working together with me for different businesses and different ventures, failures and successful, already 10 years.
Nice.
And that's the thing, like Lithuania, along with a lot of those sort of Eastern European countries, have started to become real hotbeds for developers. And I don't know if it's, I know of a number of different companies here in the States that outsource to, different countries sort of in that neck of the woods. And it's becoming, or sort of replacing, a lot of people used to use, India and China and places like that for development. Seems like more of it's moving into Eastern Europe more recently.
Yeah, that's correct. We have a great talent pool here, especially for technical things. As for like business development, for marketing, you do have other barriers like cultural barriers, language barriers. But when you talk about whatever, Ruby on Rails, Golang, PHP, it's very universal. It's global language. And this kind of more Eastern European countries, we still have this price arbitrage, which developers are not as expensive as in the US, but the quality, I would say, is much, much higher than in India, like Philippines or other countries. So it's not as cheap as in India, but the quality you get for money is much, much better.
Well, and what I found too, and I mean, like, so I run a digital marketing agency, design shop. And what I've found using sort of Eastern European talent too is that their design sensibilities seem to be more in line with Americans versus sort of some of these East Asian sort of folks, like the India or Indian developers and Chinese developers. These guys, like, they have kind of a look, like things look sort of from that part of the world. And it seems that the Eastern European guys, at least in my experience, seem to be a little more close to the sort of American sensibilities in terms of design and layout.
Yeah, that's correct. And I mean, like, even like in Eastern Europe, like, countries are different. Although we are small, like in Lithuania, we have more than 3 million population in total, entire country. So really, it's a small country, but yeah, as I can talk about like Lithuania, my home country. So we really have this sense that we belong to Western culture, although we unfortunately had to spend like almost 60 years into Russian occupation, but we never stand like, belonging to that culture. Yeah, so I completely agree that, and it includes everything, like, understanding about like humor, sense of humor, design, color, coding, etc. Yeah, all those soft things, they do play a lot in outsourcing thing as well. Completely agree on that.
So your English is really well. You have good English for being in another country. Is it kind of commonly spoken there, or is it something that you just kind of taught yourself and you learned?
For younger generation, like myself, I'm 36 now, and younger people, so yeah, it's commonly spoken. And,
okay.
Yeah. you can find a lot of people whose English is really, really well. Of course, all of us have accent. I mean, it's not our mother tongue, and sometimes you miss one another word in your vocabulary, but you find some workarounds. But yeah, it's for younger generations. It's really, really common to have a lot of people studying. I used to live in London for a while, so that's again. Traveling a lot, 60% of more than 60% of our business, of our revenue is actually coming from the US and Canada combined, so North America. So we do speak and communicate within the company in English, although vast majority of people are Lithuanians, but we do have Americans, we do have Ukrainians, we do have Moroccan people, and different nationalities. So English is our working language.
Awesome. Very cool. So let's, I guess, transition back. So we talked a little bit about the failures, but now if we've arrived at Omnisend and we're starting to build this company, can you talk about sort of the early days of Omnisend, when you guys decided that you had arrived at sort of a problem people were trying to solve, and sort of the trajectory of the company, just sort of how it's grown over the last 5 years?
Yeah, so once we launched the product, 5 years ago, so initially it was still the days of digital marketing agency. So we kept earning money from digital marketing agency activities and spending on the product to build a product. And I would say, we have ditched and fully focused on Omnisend as a product 1.5 years ago after the launch. So still for quite a while, we continue performing as an agency, earning money there and investing in product. So the traction we've got was quite good from the early days, but for a couple of years we struggled to monetize that. So we kind of understood that we are solving customers' problems, but didn't manage. And this is one of the early days learning how to properly monetize and what to charge, how to charge, and what are those features. Because up until now we have this freemium model. That means that entry-level customers, for basic features, they can use Omnisend absolutely for free, with limitations, of course. So we had this freemium model from the very beginning, and somehow managing to group the features you have and capabilities of the tool you have into a free tier, into premium tiers. Now we have 3 premium tiers, like standard, pro, and then enterprise. So that took us a while. So, but we saw again traction from early days, then managing to sort out for what our customers want to pay, and then
so how
focus
did you
on this activity.
How did you break that down into figuring out how much to charge and what to charge and what feature sets to apply for what package and so on and so forth? Did you do a bunch of A/B testing and then go from there, or any other methods that you did?
Yeah. Copy the leader. Which works
there
for
you
us.
go.
Being absolutely transparent with you guys. So in the early days, we're experimenting a lot with our pricing model, but didn't manage to find that. And finally, what we did there, we just reverse engineered the model of MailChimp pricing and did exactly the same. Now it's already different as we kind of learned our lessons and start innovating and start adopting to our customers' needs, etc., etc. But that, I would say, was a very good decision. In the early days, when you have a lack of knowledge of your specific niche, etc. So in pricing, just copy the leader, whoever is the leader in your market, because that means that industry is used to that kind of pricing model.
Yeah,
and it's much easier.
It's interesting too. So I take part in a e-commerce training academy called Tangible, and in Tangible right now, I'm in the process of trying to launch a new startup. And just last night, they were doing a session on Shopify and using Shopify as your e-commerce platform. And it's funny because the advice you're sharing is one of the very things that they said, was basically, find people that are operating in your space and go replicate the leaders, find out what they're doing. They've spent the millions of dollars in A/B testing and whatever else, so take their learnings and apply them to your own product. It's really good advice.
Yeah. So that's what we learned. And, Absolutely, because they have invested a lot. And yeah, you have mentioned Shopify. So by the way, in Shopify, we among top marketing automation solutions on Shopify. Yeah, so very well rated, and a lot of Shopify stores are using us.
Oh, interesting.
so
Yeah,
very
we'll have to talk to you when we're ready to
familiar.
start marketing.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. So we may kind of agree on something like better price for you guys. Or something.
ooh, I like
There we
I
go.
like the way you talk. That sounds awesome.
Whisper into my ear a little more. So, what was your MVP like? Did you didn't have all these API plugins and stuff like that? Was your MVP just a mailing platform, kind of similar to MailChimp?
Yeah. So that was like simplified MailChimp, I would say.
Okay.
Then I look back in the day, so it was so basic. Because now it's a bit. I'm questioning myself. So for what our customers were paying,
Right?
And there were just very basic features from our current point of view. But I guess this is the way, and it's the best way to build startup companies. Because I've just recently listened to one of the podcasts, and I don't remember exactly the guest, but what I really liked was that like quoting that there are a lot of great companies who started serving small less SMBs and they went up market. But if you start with enterprise sales, you never succeed going down market. And especially ourselves, we are a bootstrapped company. So our single investors are our customers. So really, we launched initial MVP product for really micro to small businesses, like simplified MailChimp with few very specific features built for e-commerce, which MailChimp didn't have at that time. So one of those features, which is a standard now, was abundant cart reminder, let's say, or customer reactivation flow when someone has purchased from you in the past, but you haven't seen the one in, let's say, 6 months. So automated campaign to remind that you do exist, that you do have great products, and maybe offering some good price or free delivery or something like that.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So that was MVP, and I would say we have grown together with our customers. There's a lot of like small businesses. They were growing and they were demanding for more robust solution. So in order not to lose them and not to allow them to graduate and ditch us and go to another tool which is more robust, we kept improving to satisfy their needs. So now we are mainly targeting to mid-sized businesses, although we are still very, very easy to use, and then that simplicity in the core of a tool, but just you can do very sophisticated things in very easy way. I would say that's our strength as a product now.
Interesting. Did you ever release any type of feature sets that caused problems that you actually ended up taking away? So like you thought this idea was amazing and yes, this is going to do so much, and then you released it and your clients were like, "Hey, screw you!"
Yeah. Did multiple times.
Multiple times. Okay.
Yeah, especially now we kind of from the very beginning, we wanted to listen to voice of customer and to really build our roadmap according to what our customers want or what our prospective customers want. But it's not that easy again to nail this. Especially at the beginning, when we did not have enough customers, when we did not have good enough processes to really understand our customers' needs. So our kind of gut was one of the best customers, which has influenced our roadmap. So of course we did like multiple times, maybe not kind of causing problems for them, but like you're releasing the feature, you have invested so much time, you believe this so much, but like nobody's using that.
Yeah. That's so hard to come up with on your MVP. Okay, I got this going. It's working. What do I do next? What do they want?
Mm-hmm.
That client interaction and being able to talk to them and get their feedback is so important when you're starting a small business and you're bootstrapping it, because why waste effort on something that's not going to see any results?
Yeah, completely agree. And up until now, we have this approach that we, once launching some new features or so, we launch MVP and we improve based on our customers' feedback.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Because there
awesome.
are always early adopters who start using, understand that it's kind of a beta still, and they start giving you feedback, which is already based on their exact needs. How would they like to use this feature, not us.
Yeah. Well, so just as Mike was starting to get into, this idea of consumer relationships and developing relationships with the people who are shopping with us is a real hot button these days. We're always talking about, how people can build a better relationship with your brand or with your company. And one of the ways that they do that is through a good marketing platform and plan. Can you talk us through what it looks like to engage with an omni-channel provider like what you guys do, where they've got these multiple touch points? You gave kind of a quick version of it earlier, but I wondered if you couldn't go a little deeper on what does a campaign actually look like with you guys?
Sure. So so everything starts, I would say, with data collection. That's the core of proper marketing automation. So you need to know your customer. So when talking about data, so I would say there are two major types of data. One is backend data, so your purchase history, what products have you purchased in the past, if you did that in the past as a customer of a company. And the second piece of this is your on-site behavior. What categories are you browsing, what kind of products, or whatever pricing ranges, and all that data. So like collecting this data, analyzing it, based on that, building segments, building triggers, which enable you to properly automate and really outreach the audience you want to outreach with a relevant messaging. So first piece. Second piece is really getting permissions to communicate with your customers. So this is very important as, again, just, getting database out of somewhere and start sending it. It's spam. It's bad practice. And we try to ban that kind of customers, although sometimes we have those spammers. So really getting permissions and asking your customers which are their preferred channel for communication. That is very important. So, is it email? Is it text message? Is it Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, web push notifications? So you have to give an opportunity for your customer to choose channels, and of course offer more than one channel, which is great. Usually customers, they allow you at least 2 free channels to choose from the list, which they allow you to communicate through. So that's the second part. And the third part, based on the data you have and the permissions, you already have to build proper campaigns. So automated campaigns based on triggers. So the example, which I have already mentioned a little bit, is very basic, is abundant cart reminder. Someone has visited our website, added specific products to shopping cart, but have not completed a purchase. So we know about that, and we can start automated campaign with inserting those exact products which were left in your abundant cart, and communicate that through different channels. It's kind of basic example. More robust example is, let's say you are running subscription commerce business, and the next cycle is about to come in 1 week, and we start campaign to upsell products because you have 5 products in your possible for subscription, and your customer has subscribed for a basic version of a product. So you can start a campaign. Look, so we're gonna deliver your next subscription box in 1 week. Would you like to upgrade the better version, or would you like to add another product, maybe for a single time try out, maybe for entire subscription period, etc. So it's kind of a more robust. So again, based on what kind of product you have already in a subscription box, you can promote other products. Or maybe someone is canceling your subscription, your box, and let's say you have cosmetics, for facial cosmetics box. So if you as a product, as a brand, know that this specific tube is supposed to be used in like 1 month, and someone is canceled with the reason that I have too many of those still, and I have stock.
Reminds me of the Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah.
Something like this. But what does that mean? That maybe you deserve a campaign which educates you that, come on, we encourage you to shave once per day, not once per month. So that's our idea.
And that's when I hit unsubscribe.
Yeah, but maybe about razors, not that best example. But let's say if it's not razors, but food supplement. So you should be taking 1 pill per day in order to kind of achieve some results. If you're not doing that, of course, so you will not see the effect. So if someone didn't use the entire bottle, which contains 30 in 1 month, that means that someone is not using it in a proper way. So you can start education campaign and show it's very important to do it once per day, because it's a single way, to achieve better results. Working out is not enough. You need to take food supplements, etc. Yeah, so just, a couple of different examples, basic ones and more sophisticated ones.
Well, so
how
when
does
do you
that
think,
work?
You mentioned that you guys are targeting more like mid-sized businesses now, but when does a company, or like when would you suggest a company starts looking into a platform like this? I think because there are so many, not necessarily competitors in this space, but in the software space in general, there's so many shiny objects. Or in the back of of Shopify as an example, since we brought that up, there's a million apps for Shopify. Like, how do we know when we should actually start engaging with a piece of software versus just getting it because we think we should? Like you mentioned, the data collection is so key. Like, when do we know we have enough data to actually begin an effective omni marketing campaign?
Very good question. So it's always chicken egg, dilemma. So I would say you should start from the very beginning. Yeah, with egg. Oh,
no pun intended. The egg.
Yeah. So, just start from the very beginning. And again, sooner you start collecting data, the better is for you. Sooner you start collecting subscribers, the better is for you. So that means that, various subscription forms, exit intent pop-ups, sign-up boxes in your on your website, etc. You should launch those since the very beginning. So the first part. Second part, some of the automated campaigns, again, basic ones like welcome campaigns, like abundant cart reminders, like browse abundance, which are quite basic in products in Omnisend and other products in our competitors. Usually they are pre-built. So they are very easy to launch. So even though you are still a small business, but once you've got first purchase, you can communicate with that first customer, sending like first purchase campaign, let's say. So we have delivered, you have received your payment. Can you fill up a short questionnaire? How would you rate our product? Like leave us an NPS feedback, etc., etc. So all this, again, it doesn't sound like a marketing activity, but reminding about your brand after purchase for some time, it's good for you. I mean, you should not be pushy, but just taking care about your customers, etc. So once you have sold first piece of a product to sell, so that's the right moment to start.
Have you found?
Sometimes, just to add, because the common mistake, I would say the key one, which small businesses do, they start collecting subscribers, but they do not communicate with those subscribers. What does that mean? That I have already forgotten that they left my email address or phone number for someone. Then they start communicating after 6 months. And what do? I hit either unsubscribe or report it as a spam.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how many times I've filled out a form and then not done anything with it. And then, like you said, 6-7 months comes up and they send me an email and I totally forgot who they were, why I had given them my information to begin with. And I'm the first one to hit unsubscribe, because if I don't remember what I was interested in, why should I keep following it? So it makes complete sense.
So one of these things that you mentioned too, I mean, we need to be building our list, right? We need to be collecting our list. I wondered how GDRP has affected you and like, well, not you per se, but I mean, like your clients. I mean, where it was a European standard that, now I think most businesses and most platforms here in the States are starting to adopt it as well to make sure that we're sort of internationally compliant. But what can you do, or have you had to do, or have you run into trouble with people who had non-compliant lists or things like that?
So we had kind of a small dip, I would say, in our European customer payments because our business, like our pricing, is based on the number of subscribers they have in their list. But in general, for the industry and for the channel, that is very healthy. So there are real spammers. There are those who always used to comply to all the rules and follow the best practices, and vast majority of businesses are somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't want to abuse regulations, but somehow they had an old list. They know that maybe this list is not like 100% proper, maybe not. Maybe 80% of those people have subscribed, and 20 somehow managed to end up in that list. So let's send to all of those. So they have cleaned up their lists, which is great for the industry, which is great for businesses, because again, I mean, email is a good channel by itself. Sometimes there are bad guys which are using this channel, and terms like spam, etc. came from that. So so that was as far as I remember, that was last year, like 2018 June or something. Mm-hmm. So we saw a little bit like dip, but some of the customers, they have got rid of their pieces of their databases.
And have you found any problems working with companies in the States and their compliance with GDRP? Just, I assume there's, I mean, like you were saying earlier about sort of this global village, right? I mean, even if you're an American company and you're dealing with primarily American clients, odds are you might have some foreign folks in there too. I don't even really understand all the logistics or the difficulties that would come from like an American-based company trying to do business in Europe and making sure that they're compliant.
Yeah, so some of them just started like following better practices or best practices, which is very easy to do that. So first thing, second thing, still vast majority of our customers for American companies, especially like smaller ones. I'm not talking about like main giants like Amazon, eBay, etc. So vast majority of our customers are coming from North America or like South America, a little bit, not that many from Europe. So, and really to enforce GDPR for the businesses which are outside European Union by European Union authorities is so difficult. Sure. That I have not heard about any case, unless you are kind of really abusing that regulation. If there is one client accidentally, I mean, nobody will sue you that fast, and nobody will fine you that fast. Sure. So that's another thing. And we saw some of the funny examples as well, as like, making your entire website unavailable for any other IP except the US.
Right. Yeah, no, I've noticed that the platforms like the MailChimps and the Klavios and places like that are starting to build in GDRP compliance. And so I assume that will become kind of the standard as we move forward. But but cool. Yeah. Well, that's interesting information about that. I know that there are a lot of people really worried about it in the beginning, and it seems like maybe it's not that scary after all. It's just a matter of being a little more honest or a little better.
Which is a good thing overall, I think. How do you see AI coming into play with your product? Do you see that causing an issue in the future or being beneficial?
We have like a small team, quite small team of AI, like data scientists, and we're experimenting with AI, applying a little bit, but just a little bit up until now. So we will apply more. So what do I strongly believe, and what do we as a product strongly believe, that AI will assist people, but I don't believe that in the upcoming 10 or 15 years AI will substitute people. So the still main decisions will be made by marketers. But as I read once and really liked it, that, AI should do the donkey job. Let's say what we're talking about from our point of view, really personalizing messages. Sometimes you need to build maybe 100 or maybe 1,000 different segments. So do it in a manual way, although you can think about that, but it's so difficult to do that. AI can help you with that. Doing some things which are not possible in a manual way, or you should hire some thousands of Indian people to do that, which is again not doable, because you have 1 hour to get campaign ready or so. So what we are now working with AI. So one of the things is really to make your emails look better. So just harmonizing color codes, etc. Because sometimes one image can be in with a white background and a red background, etc. So if you have in-house designers, so the one can make those all different images look similar and look beautiful within an email. If you don't, so this is the field where we believe and we will launch some feature quite soon, AI based, that it will be just remove backgrounds of different colors, normalize how does different images look in your email to make them look much better. So again, not replacing the marketer, but assisting them, that they don't need to hire some external designers to do some basic things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think, I agree. I'm pretty excited about some of the prospects of artificial intelligence, but I do think we're quite a ways off from them, from AI being able to actually, develop the kinds of relationships that you would normally form with a marketer and a company and that kind of thing. It's going to be a while, I think, before it can really contextualize all the data you've collected and make, an accurate representation of people. So, so really cool.
Completely agree on that. Yeah.
So I guess, can you talk a little bit about, and I'm not sure, if there's even really a clear answer, but if somebody's just opened their e-commerce platform and they're trying to, they're a new business owner and they're trying to start a marketing campaign, is there a place that you might recommend somebody start? Like, you started talking a little bit about some of the different executions or some of the different ways people might do it, but what's the most basic version? Like, what would I do if I'm just trying to start my company today? I don't have any social media. I don't have an email list. How would you recommend people get started?
That's a very good question. So in general, the first task is really start acquiring first customers. So it depends on the products you have. So all the effective channels, they are more or less paid. So you can do some paid campaigns on social media. You can do Google, AdWords, Instagram, Pinterest might be a way, especially if you are in fashion industry, etc. So that can be a way to do it. Influencers marketing is very effective nowadays, including micro-influencers marketing. You should not have Madonna endorsing you, or 50 Cent on top-notch celebrities, but there can be micro-influencers who have a lot of followers on either Instagram or Twitter. So that's what is very effective. So I would say, if you have a really great product, so a lot of those influencers, of course, they earn money from endorsing different products. But I would say that's what you should consider, definitely. Making this micro-influencers marketing as your top priority, if your product fits in that category. If you're selling guns, maybe you don't have micro-influencers. Maybe you do. I'm not sure about it.
Sure. It is America. There's a bunch of people that are into
I've started that example, but there should be.
Yeah, we're good here. We got that. So, sorry. What do you think is the most effective, is social media the best? Is email campaigns the best? Or is it product specific? I guess it depends on what you're selling, because if you widget is a visual example, having Instagram might be the best versus email. Is there one that sticks out in your mind that's a better way to go or a better platform?
I would say we have to define like Instagram, social media. They are mainly channels for customer acquisitions, and the email is for retention. Email, SMS, messengers, all the messengers, you have to have a customer already, or prospective customer at least, so they need to give you a permission to communicate with them. So you cannot just pay for the list and start sending emails or Facebook Messenger messages, but you can pay for Facebook ad campaigns. So yeah, so there are two different, pieces of communication in the entire customer journey. So first you need to acquire customers, then you need to retain. And what usually in many cases in e-commerce happens that your first transaction is like kind of negative ROI. You lose money, because you pay for first time buyer more than you earn from that first time buyer, and then you need to retain this customer, and only for after second or maybe third buy, that customer will become profitable for you. So for helping them to spend money for second and third time within your store, email, SMS, all the messengers are the most effective channels.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Making a first time buyer, social media, paid ads are the most effective.
Okay, so Rytis, just as we're starting to get to the end of this show, let's talk a little bit about sort of the future of omni-channel marketing. Like, where do you see this business going in the future? What types of integrations or connections are we unable to make now that you look forward to working on in the future, or that you think will sort of, like, what does the landscape look like? Maybe 1, 3, 5 years down the road for e-commerce marketers.
Yeah. So what do we strongly believe that commerce in general will become omnichannel? I mean, that's a direction commerce is already moving. With a lot of those D2C brands, like digital first, and like the best example I would say is Amazon, which was a pioneer that, it's all digital, all electronic, but now they're acquiring offline stores, opening their physical brick and mortar bookstores and things like that. So definitely there will be just commerce. You will be able to buy any way you want, offline, online, on social media, on your phone, on your, whatever device will be in place after 10 years. But definitely that's a direction, and it takes time. It's not that easy, especially for old school retailers to adopt and to integrate all the data they have, because they have a lot of data on their online stores. They have much more data on their offline loyalty programs, let's say. But that's the direction it's moving that way. So the e-commerce will drop an e-letter and will become commerce. That's for sure. And what we strongly believe that marketing should be treated that way as well, that you have to have data. Again, as we talked, that everything starts with proper data collection and proper data analysis. So you have to have data from different channels where you do sell. It's online store, it's offline loyalty programs, brick and mortar, visitors' behavior and what products did they check, did they like something, etc., etc. So that's the first thing, collecting all that data from different channels and then communicating through different channels. Leaving is as freedom of choice for customers, for them to choose which of the channels are the most preferred for the customers to be outreached by the brands.
So, say for example, I have an Amazon storefront, and I've been selling this widget for a few years now. Do you have a way to go in and access the data from my previous sales, or do I have to start fresh? Is there a way to, for like you did, put an API into that and get it, or is it manually entering all my past transactions?
So from Amazon, they are limiting this data. I mean, they are building that, what is called walled gardens. They own your data, and that's the huge asset for them, because they make you pay for that data to be used. You can buy ads on Amazon. You can buy emails from Amazon being sent, but you cannot extract the data and import it into the platform like Omnisend. If you own your own store, like built on Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, etc., where you own the data, so with tools like Omnisend or some other tools, so you just synchronize the data. We synchronize all the historical data, all the subscribers, all their purchasing history, etc. And so you have it as an asset. With Amazon, you don't have it.
Interesting. Yeah. See, that's one thing when you're choosing a platform you might want to have some insight on, because if you're going to go down that road and not have access to the data to scale your business properly, it might be worthwhile to think of another option, just for that one reason alone. You know?
So I would say, like, especially from the very beginning, Amazon and like the platforms, eBay, maybe. And so it's a good start, like not on the high street. And other platforms. So it's a good for the beginning, but at some point you start considering having your own like brand and your own store as well. You can still mix those. You can still use those different channels, selling on Amazon, but owning your Shopify store, and trying to redirect more and more customers towards your own store, not bought store. So what's good with Amazon, it's something like brick and mortar shopping mall. Once you launch a storefront on Amazon, you pay some money for Amazon and they guarantee you traffic. Once you launch your own store on Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, etc., it's much more difficult to get initial traffic and to acquire first customers. So therefore, it's good to start with Amazon, but at a certain point, you should start at least combining like bought channels as Amazon and owned channels as your Shopify store.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, yeah, I mean, that's basically the value behind an Amazon or something like that, is that data, right? I mean,
that's
the data
the value
is the most
for
valuable
every
thing.
business out there right now is data mining everything. So
It's true. So cool. All right. Well, I think we're getting kind of to the end. So Rytis, do you mind just giving us a couple, where can people find out more about the product? Where can they find out about you online? And where can they, engage with you guys?
Yeah, sure. So it's omnisend.com. If you already have an online store, you can find us on Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento, PrestaShop, app stores. So you can find them. And myself, I prefer LinkedIn. So Rytis Lauris on LinkedIn or Rytis Lauris on Twitter. So those are most preferred social media channels for myself. So I'm always keen on chatting with interesting people and having their contacts.
Well, very cool, man. So we really appreciate you taking the time once again, especially calling in so late and keeping you up late. So thanks so much for doing that. And that's it.
Yeah, thanks for making the time.
Thanks for inviting. Really nice talk. Thanks, guys.
Okay, take care.
Thank you so much for listening to Eggs, the podcast. You can find us at eggscast.com, at Egg Show on Instagram and Twitter, and contact us through the website through our email. If you have any questions, inquiries, or suggestions, we would love to hear them. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.